But there's one animal that likes showers. The tar is a rare mountain goat. It's nosed its way into number 6 in the countdown thanks to a liquid lunch that's really horrendous. During the mating season, there's one surefire way for a male to assess if a female will be receptive to his amorous advances. Tar play a gross game of tag. Instead of saying "you're it," tar prefer to say "you're in." But tar aren't the only ones to have taken a wee drink. Back in Roman times, mouthwash and toothpaste were actually made from urine. Back then, pee was the toast of the town. But it turns out the Romans were onto a good thing, because stored urine contains ammonia, and ammonia molecules are natural cleansers. In fact, ammonia is still an ingredient in many dental hygiene products. Only these days it's made in the laboratory, not the lavatory. However, we're still excreting an awful lot of ammonia. The average adult outputs up to 2 liters of urine every day. Collect all that pee, and you'd end up with enough to fill a backyard swimming pool, more than 400,000 liters. And by the way, it's estimated that people involuntarily release 2 tablespoons of urine every time they get into a swimming pool. And no matter what your parents told you, there is no magic chemical put into a swimming pool that reveals the presence of urine in the water. It's an urban myth, but it sure stops kids from peeing in pools. The only pool this gross goat is interested in is the gene pool. Sniffing urine may provide information about potential mates, but it does result in questionable dental hygiene. That's because when tar take a drink, it really is bottoms up. If you've been grossed out by the tar's dirty drinking and the jackal's filthy feeding, then you just won't believe what baby koalas have for dinner. Plus, you'll discover why you wouldn't want a sea cucumber in your salad. It's bon appetit! People just can't wait to meet the next contender in our countdown, the koala. They think this icon of the Australian bush is cute and cuddly. After all, the koala sleeps for 22 hours every day. If they only knew the disgusting truth. The koala is number 5 in our countdown of extreme grossouts because it's actually a foul-mouthed furball. That's because this marsupial teddy bear only eats the leaves of eucalyptus trees, which are packed with protective poisons. It takes a digestive system full of special bacteria to detoxify the leaves. The trouble is that koala babies are born without the bacteria, so mom has to pass the bugs on. Which is why she whips up a tasty treat of bacteria-filled droppings. That green paste is actually poo. Koalas really do have a potty mouth and would rather lick the bowl than flush it. Toilets and what happens in them are so gross that most people prefer to keep them behind closed doors. But that wasn't always the case. In Scotland in the 18th century, there was such a shortage of public conveniences that toilets would come to you. If in need, you just had to look for a man armed with a large cloak and a big bucket. For a little money, you could use the bucket and get a little privacy. But you wouldn't have had any toilet paper. This modern convenience appeared little more than 100 years ago, and it took some time before manufacturers would guarantee that it was splinter-free. So today, we should think ourselves lucky that answering the call of nature has become such a private, pleasurable experience. Perhaps that's why a recent survey showed that every year, Americans spend a total of 2 weeks in the smallest room in the house. To pass the time while sitting on the throne, 33% of people use the telephone, 47% are happy to just contemplate the future, and more than half of those surveyed retreat there to read in peace. Luckily, only baby koalas seem to want to eat their meals in the toilet. While we may poo-poo the koala's gross diet, it's still no match for the bottom feeder coming up next in the countdown. The oceans are home to some breathtakingly beautiful sights. Unfortunately, the animal at number 4 in the countdown isn't one of them. To track it down, just follow the yellow bricks on the road. Eventually, you'll come face to rear with the sea cucumber. Believe it or not, this shapeless, squidgy sausage is actually related to the starfish, yet it looks more like something nasty you'd wipe off the bottom of your shoe. And strangely enough, that's pretty much what it feeds on. Sea cucumbers are the vacuum cleaners of the sea. They'll dine on the most ghastly sludge, picking up everything from droppings to dead bodies. A single cucumber can process more than 130 kilograms of sediment a year. That makes an awful lot of poop. While most of us find defecation disgusting, for some people, it holds a strange fascination. The streets of Manhattan are the last place you'd expect to find a sea cucumber, or something that looks like one. But things aren't always what they seem, especially at Abracadabra. This New York novelty store specializes in the unexpected.